I don't understand. I spoke to him only recently.
Monsieur Peru has lost his mind. It's obvious.
Yet another way for the French to make a spectacle of themselves.
So yeah, this isn't the most respectful depiction of suicide, but I can think of some worse ones off the top of my head.
Well, once again, it has worked.
My friends, let us settle down, please. We are all in shock, of course. Let us celebrate Louis's courage. He enabled us to avert a tragedy.
Yes, that was very noble of you, Louis.
Yes, I think we've all missed out on what's really important here. Me.
You have given us all a fine lesson in courage.
Thank you.
He owes you his life. That's quite something.
That madman deserves to die.
We are providing Monsieur Peru with care, but rest assured, he is no longer a danger to himself or anyone else. I think everyone needs a little rest. Can you stay a moment?
Of course.
Louis, I wanted to thank you personally.
Oh, that was nothing. You should see me play Ambition.
I admire what you did to save Monsieur Peru's life. You have given us all a wonderful lesson in courage.
Did you just plagiarize that compliment, sir?
Don't mention it, my lord. You would have done the same. I was just quicker.
Ah, humility is a fine quality, sir.
Where is he now?
In his room. I've sedated him. I don't want him trying to take his life again. Or, worse yet, attacking one of the guests. When in despair, Monsieur Peru is clearly a dangerous man.
Hey, stop that. Stop teleporting. Is this the instant transmission technique? Stop it. No.
Tell me, my lord, what did you expect of him exactly? I found it difficult to understand what his role was here.
In fact, I asked him here to speak about our collaboration. His mission was soon to come to an end, and I was hoping to persuade him to slow down. I had a few interesting missions abroad to propose to him.
Did you tell him that?
I just let him know that perhaps it was time to move on to something else.
Oh, what a wacky misunderstanding. Just like an episode of Frasier.
On that note, my lord, I'll be leaving you. Have we covered everything?
Absolutely. Oh, Louis, one more thing, please.
Don't you fucking Columbo me.
What a pity you didn't support me during the conference. I hope I can count on you on the day of the vote. This major project needs men like you, Louis.
Well, I'm just doing whatever funniest. If you think of a way to make the Louisiana Purchase funny, I'll reconsider.
And you never know, right? Maybe by then, I'll see things differently.
Well, thank you for allowing me to believe in that possibility. From here on, I shall make it my mission to persuade you to change your vote.
Be my guest. But I hope your arguments are very, very persuasive, because I'm not the only one who isn't on your side.
Oh, rest assured, I am working on it.
Very well, then. I'll see you later, my lord.
I just need to say goodbye to Waldo. Goodbye, Waldo. And I'll be off. I'm gonna show off walking around the mansion a lot in this episode, just because it is chock full of content. Someone berating the servants? But I do that!
Your guess is not sufficient. Tell the others, for crying out loud. Remember to close my window once you've done my room. This isn't Corsica, you know. I'm freezing.
Of course, sir. I'll see to it straight away.
Good. Proceed.
Yes, sir.
Monsieur Bonaparte.
Sorry, Dorishi. I have no time for traitors such as yourself.
I beg your pardon?
If you are here, it's because Lord Mortimer agreed to include you. And what's the first thing that you do? You betray him by following Sir Gregory and bending over backwards to turn Washington against him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was free to vote as I pleased. I didn't realize I had to vote for Lord Mortimer in order to show my gratitude toward him. Hey, he invited me here to come and look for my missing mother during his high society party. I'm sorry, truly sorry. I don't know all your customs yet.
It's just common decency that when invited to a man's castle, you don't go and to pee on his boots. Is it too much to ask?
I guess it is.
Yeah, democracy is about standing up for what you believe in. It's not about scoring meaningless points or doing your friends favors. Oh wait, Napoleon has a point.
Sorry, sir, but you cannot go through. We have very clear instructions from Lord Mortimer. Monsieur Peru must rest.
Man, I wish I had a bodyguard who just stood by and made sure no one disturbed the sanctity of my naps.
No answer.
Okay, let's not be desperate.
Nothing. Emily? Emily, are you there?
Louis, no.
Emily!
Yes. Louis, is that you?
Yes, let me in.
I'm sorry, Louis. I don't feel very well. I'll see you later.
Are you sure everything's all right? Are you still there?
At this point, I was stuck in front of the door and could not back away. I had to restart the game to proceed. Time to visit our favorite sex goblin, Godoy.
Monsieur de Richet, I have no time. I was about to join Sir Gregory. Come back later.
I wanted to talk to you a moment and...
I am expected. I'm sorry. We shall talk later.
Why wasn't I invited to this secret meeting? I mean, just because I publicly betrayed the last people who put their trust in me, that doesn't mean I'll do it to you guys. Right here, I tried to be slick and edit it so I looked like I was going directly into Von Volner's room. But the door plate still says Washington. Oopsie.
Congratulations, Monsieur de Richet. You made the right decision at the conference. What can I do for you?
It's been a hot minute since we've mentioned the Necronomicon, but it hasn't really shown up in the story much, besides being the Incite incident.
Do you have any news regarding your search for the Al-Azif?
Good. You are straight to the point this time. I appreciate that. I shall allow myself to reply only because we are now on the same side. But keep it to yourself. My search is over. We have it.
Spoke too soon, it's back in the story.
Congratulations, you were quicker than me.
Oh, don't blame yourself. You had no chance of getting the better of Sir Gregory.
Well, at least I tried. So, tell me, where did you find it?
Would you believe that your mother gave it to Emily's twin sister before we arrived on the island? Apparently, she asked her to hide it, and once she had done so, your mother intended to kill her. But Emma, Emily's sister, survived. So Gregory realized this and hid her in his apartment to tend to her, without anyone knowing. When she came around, Emma rallied to Sir Gregory and told him where the Al-Azif was. And that was it. That's one good thing. Done and dusted.
One, that doesn't actually answer the question of where it was. Two, Emily survived that point-blank gunshot from the first episode and has been hiding in Sir Gregory's room this whole time. And three, I have no idea what paying attention to the wallpaper is going to do here.
Is anything wrong?
Oh, well, if I were you, Louis, I would be careful. Emma is still alive. And when your mother turns up, I wouldn't be surprised if she considers she has a score to settle with her.
You're right. It's quite probable.
I think that Sir Gregory will do all he can to calm the situation down, but there's no guaranteeing that she won't find a way of taking her revenge on your mother. However, keep it to yourself. We never spoke to each other.
Thank you for this information, sir.
Oh, don't mention it, Louis. It's natural. We are playing on the same side now. You can always count on me.
On that note, I don't want to take up any more of your time.
Oh, not at all, Louis. Come back whenever you want.
I'll see you later.
I mean, as long as Emma doesn't search the sewer drain, I think my mom is safe. Hey, wanna see the game shit itself?
Your Eminence.
Ah, Louis. Well done, my son. May well, who knows man was capable of.
Reflex reaction.
And I would be proud of you. It's not going to help matters for Mortimer. He has one vote for the Count.
Ah, see his image identify a good operative in every
Now, what do you expect, Louis? The benefit of age. You learn with time.
Except, even with such a setback, I'd still be wary. I sense he has still a few surprises for us.
Oh, with you. Been told about congratulations, Louis. I must admit, though, when I first saw you, I would never have put money on. Well, I was wrong.
Thank you, Your Eminence.
On that note, I shall leave you, Louis. I see you later.
So, like, 80% of the encounter was the game freaking out, and 20% was my recording software. I would never deprive you of seeing what was created in this fiasco. Anyway, back to our room.
Louis, open up, please.
Coming, Mr. President, I'm coming!
Louis. Oh, there you are at last.
Yes,
I just saw your mother. She was accompanied by Emily, and they both went into the Duchess's room. I tried to join them, but I was refused at Louis. This does not bode well. They didn't let me in, but I'm the president. Something must be wrong.
Oh, shit. Emily might want to avenge her sister. I must act quickly.
You're right, Mr. President. Thank you.
Fellas, we've all been in this situation. Our girlfriend's twin sister meets our mom. Mom shoots her, leaves her for dead, only to find out she's not dead and she's come back for revenge. Typical.
I do believe that's Emily's voice. I can't understand what she's saying.
I've tried increasing the volume here to see if I could make out what they were saying, but the music is too loud.
I can't open it. It must be blocked on the other side. I'll have to find another way in, quick.
So Napoleon mentioned that his balcony was left open, so we can try to go through his room to get on the balcony and get into Emily's room. However, we're going to do the same thing but in Peru's room, because there's more content there and I'm all about that grind. What's going on?
Come on, for Christ's sake, Peru. Wake up! Louis, do you want something?
Am I disturbing you, perhaps?
Oh, why, no, not at all. Now, we are on the same side, Louis. How can I help?
Tell me, what were you two doing?
I'm trying to get some sense out of this vegetable, but I'm afraid Mortimer's over-sedated him. He can't even speak. But I'm not beaten yet. I'm sure he will end up telling me everything he knows, and especially where Mortimer's hideout is. The manor must be riddled with secret rooms, and I'm sure that Peru knows some of them. You wouldn't know of any, would you, by any chance?
I don't really have a reason to do this, but I love to embrace chaos, so...
Yes, I know of two.
Oh, really? Louis, God bless you.
There's one behind the large chimney in the portrait gallery, and the other one's in Mortimer's study.
Tell me about the one in his study. Would you know how to open it?
Sure, I made a whole walkthrough video about it.
Certainly. Under his desk, you'll find a pedal which moves the painting behind. You'll see. You can't miss it. Then, you just need to enter 1191 as the code, and the door will open.
Oh, Louis, I will never forget what you just did for me.
Now that Prue is in a mild coma, he won't mind them stealing his delicious honey.
Great. Honey. Let's see what he has on it.
What if Prue just snapped out of it right as I was feeling him up?
He's in a catatonic state. I wonder who could have done this to him. I know Lord Mortimer gave him something, but even the strongest opiates don't have this effect. It's as if his body is no longer responding. I've seen patients after a major trauma before, but nothing like this. Mortimer has spared no effort to calm him down. Pupils totally dilated and unresponsive. Pulse extremely slow and faint. No reaction to any stimuli. It's the first time I've come across something like this. I don't even know how he's able to stay seated.
No, leave me alone.
Monsieur!
I don't want to.
Monsieur Peru!
No. I won't. No. No, no, touch her. No!
Oh, man. I don't know what Mortimer has given him, but he's not looking all there.
Early in this game, before it was patched out, you could use this balcony to get into Elizabeth Adams' room and get stuck between her bed and the glass door and soft lock the game.
Why'd you do that to me?
It's as if there were several people inside.
Once again, you're the one who's the victim in all this.
What are you on about now?
What on earth is... You... Mother?
How dare you do this to me? You can talk. After everything I've done for you. You are joking, I hope, right? I gave you my life. That's enough, Emma. Now that Louis is here, you will leave Sarah alone. Cease your revenge immediately. What? If you think you're going to...
Louis, help me, I beg you. I can no longer reason with her. I am Emily. Quit playing games. What? Honestly, don't be ridiculous. No. I am Emily. You are wasting your time. Louis knows very well how to tell us apart. After everything we've been through together.
Yes, well...
Don't you dare bring him into this. This is between you and me. I ask for nothing more, so stop taking it out on Sarah. You prissy little bitch! How dare you! Now that I've told you everything, you want to take my place, do you? You are joking, I hope. I'm the one who told you everything that's been going on while you were away. Go on then. That's what you want, isn't it? You want to kill me? Go on then, shoot! After all the trouble I've gone through to find you. Go on. What are you waiting for? Here, Louis, take this.
Wait, what's going...
An entire life for this. Go on, shoot! Sorry, Louis, I can't shoot her. She's my sister. That's enough, Emma. Louis, out of the way. She's dangerous. Don't trust her. What are you trying to do? Louis, out of the way. I am not Emma. Come on, Louis, tell her who the real Emily... That's right, Louis. I'm fed up with this little game. Tell him who the real Emily is.
Why do these things always happen to me?
Well, Louis, come on, you know how to tell us apart, right?
Do I, though?
Yes, but I'd like to ask you a few questions to make sure there's no doubt.
Rational and open, Louis. Let's see. How can I tell them apart? Wait, I've got an idea. On the night of our arrival...
You know, the moment identical twins were introduced into the plot, we should have seen this coming. All of the folks at home try to figure out which one is the real one before I reveal the correct method to do it.
Who was with us on the wharf?
Cardinal Piaggi, who couldn't stop talking. Louis, I already told her about our arrival. I know, because I was there. The Cardinal went up. You felt poorly, Louis, and I offered you my handkerchief. I was there.
Right. Let's find something else. Ah, yes. Let's speak about my arrival at the manor.
It doesn't really matter which one you question first. I tried to make my questions pretty even between the twins, but I messed that up later on. Sorry.
On the night of our arrival, we were warming ourselves in front of the fire. Mortimer welcomed us in a very odd way. What happened?
It won't work, Louis. It wasn't Mortimer who welcomed us. It was Sir Gregory. Sorry, Louis. I already told her.
Very well.
Let's try something else.
On the first night, we went up to bed, but I wasn't tired. I went for a little stroll.
You know, it would have just been a great help if they didn't share all of their information with each other. I mean, I get that's their gimmick, but apparently Emma's only been awake for a couple of hours. Why did their tender reunion have to include a recap?
Before going to bed, I went for a stroll. Did we speak to each other during that stroll?
You must be mistaken. After going up to bed, I went straight to sleep. But she knows all that, Louis. I already told her. Don't think you're going to get away with this deception so easily. I can assure you, you're going to regret pretending to be me once Louis has exposed you.
Right. I don't think I'll get very far like this. I'll have to find something better.
Oh, I don't think I'll even wait until he's finished.
Take it easy now.
Are you mad, Louis?
Lower your arm.
I better act quickly if I don't want things to get out of hand.
Come on, she's putting one over on you. Look at yourself for crying out loud. You were prepared to shoot me down.
In the secret room behind the study. Talk to them about what you've been doing. Maybe they haven't spoken about it between each other yet.
On the night of the disappearance of Elizabeth Adams.
We say disappearance, but we know where her body is.
What about it? What do you want to know about that night?
Okay, now this is going to be a little controversial, but if you have the same body and apparently the same brain, does it really matter which one of you lives or dies? I mean, I know this is some Talos principle shit, but let's think about it logically.
We found ourselves in Mortimer's secret gallery. What relics did we find?
Property deeds in Mortimer's name dating from very long ago.
Is that all?
You mean all those mythological charms?
Can we finally talk about how funny it was that we found Judas's instructions on how to kill Jesus?
So there was the so-called Pandora's box that wasn't a box actually. The famous golden fleece that reeked of dead goat. A broken sword that could have belonged to anyone. Is that enough?
Yes, that's enough.
You look captivated. Of course, he bought it. That's enough! I've had enough of this charade. Louis, there's only one way to tell us apart. There's just one thing I didn't tell her about in detail. Too bad for you, Emma. I didn't want it to come to this, but you leave me no choice. Ask her about you and I. You just lost, Emma. I indeed didn't tell you everything about it. Come, Louis.
speak about our intimacy.
Very well, let's talk about us.
Before we begin, I want everyone to acknowledge that I was very sleepy and I've had some headaches recently, so if my performance wasn't up to snuff, it's not really my fault.
Last night, you came to visit me, and I can't help wondering why. Why did you come to my room?
Louis, you must be mistaken. I did not go to your room last night, and that's where your little game ends, Emma. Because I never told you about it. So, there you can't answer.
What? No! You didn't do that.
I didn't want you to be jealous of Louis. Remember how you always used to react whenever you felt you were competing against a man?
You dirty...
That's enough. I've had enough of this charade.
That's enough, both of you. Now I know who the real Emily is.
Do we know who the real Emily is? Without my patented good boy technique to know who is who, I couldn't really say.
It's you, Emily.
No, Louis! She is manipulating you.
No, Emma. It's her. I know it. Despite all the trouble you've gone to put one over on me, I know it is her.
That's enough now, Emma. You little slut! Don't think you are going to get away with this so easily. You are going to stop your little game right now. Never! I am Duchess Hilson. No!
Emily?
I am the Duchess.
But...
You don't. Dear God, what have I done? See what you've done. See?
Louis?
Wait, Mom, you're not dead? Were you just sleeping on the floor waiting for all this to blow over before getting up?
Mother!
What on earth is...
Go away. You must go. Everyone is going to arrive.
Louis, what's going on?
Duchess, is everything all right?
Come on, Louis. There's nothing more you can do.
But I...
Leave us.
Emily, what's going on?
Wait, didn't Louis say the door was barred from the inside earlier? Did we have to break in through the balcony just because we suck at picking locks?
Mother, go to the crypt. I'll meet you there.
I'll be waiting for you.
Emily.
Madam, I am coming in.
It was bound to end like this, Louis. Let me stay with her. Please. Go. I'll cover you.
And this is how I believe you're supposed to tell them apart. At any time you can enter the menu and see a journal of all of the characters, including their weaknesses and immunities to certain choices in the dialogue. So if you choose one and get a certain reaction, you can go to the journal and see who that reaction would be from. I don't know how I feel about this. It makes it a little less fun to solve, I think, because there isn't a interactive detective adventure game-y kind of way to solve it. It feels kind of cheap, but I do enjoy that it's like a little meta thing, which is check your menu and see which one it is. I don't know, I am conflicted. By the way, I know this game calls it the Crypts, but it's soggy, there's no graves, it's a sewer. Mommy Dearest is a rat woman.
Louis, at last, there you are.
Mother, wait,
Come, we have to be quick.
No, wait, Mother,
Time is running out, Louis. First, we must...
No! That's enough. I won't go a step further unless you explain to me what is going on here. I'm begging you. Talk to me.
You must trust me, my son. You are not ready yet.
You are the one who should trust me. Tell me what's happening.
You would never believe me.
I came all the way here for you. Now I've found you. I'm ready, Mother.
If only. Louis, I have always taught you to keep your mind open and rational. I know you are going to find this hard to believe, But what I am going to reveal to you is entirely true. Many years ago, I found out that demons really do live among us.
This game rocks.
I beg your pardon?
And that they can influence our thoughts.
Mother, listen to yourself. I know you're exhausted, but for crying out loud, listen to what you're saying. Demons? What next? An ancient monster with a head like an octopus?
I do get that reference.
What do your demons look like? Have they got horns and a pointed tail?
No, these are not creatures with billy goat's legs. Forget your Christian folklore. Imagine them more as parasitic spirits. They possess their hosts and direct them from inside.
Parasitic spirits?
Yes, they are capable of going from one body to another as they see fit. And 2 of them are present on this island.
Right. So let me guess.
Now, it'd be very fun to accuse historical figures of being demons, but, yeah.
Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory, right?
You felt it too?
No, even if Home does look the part. But I don't know who else could do it, given that we're on their territory.
Many years ago, well before you were born, I crossed paths with one of them. Since then, I've spent my life trying to find it again. When we recovered the Al-Azif, I was persuaded that von Burchard was working for this demon in one way or another. But I thought he would hand the book to a middleman during this conference. That's where I made an error that could well turn out to be fatal. The one who Burchard was meant to give the book to was none other than the demon in person, Mortimer. Not to mention that Home had sent Volner to get it for him.
Home and Mortimer are demons?
They both seem to disagree about many things, but I'll admit I never knew exactly why. There are many of them, Louis, not just those 2.
Mother, have you any proof to support any of this?
Of course, but you do too. You had everything laid out in front of you. Didn't you notice anything?
You know, when you're logical about this, the only answer is that they're demons.
Well, those property deeds across the world, all signed by the same hand and over several centuries.
I am proud of you, Louis.
I found your notes written in lemon juice.
Where all eyes size you up. At one stage, I was so afraid of losing my mind that I noted everything down. Congratulations, Louis. Wait, please tell me you didn't open Pandora's box.
The urn? Yes, I did. Why?
Too bad. We'll deal with it later.
I went beyond the nightmare, Mother.
You understood the Masonic date.
1191.
Of course! It was during that siege that the demon took possession of Sir Mortimer. They spent a whole night in conversation until the early hours of the morning. Mortimer had passed the test. He had charmed the demon, and so it chose him to be its host for centuries to come. But tell me, did you find his secret study?
I did indeed.
Did you see his maps of the world?
He has contacts the world over.
Yes, I've been developing the Golden Order across the world for many years, and I've never seen anyone with such influence. It's simply inhuman.
You mean the conference?
How can you explain that someone manages to bring together so many important figures without anyone knowing?
And without any security or personnel.
You know, I figured it was a combination of wealth, influence, and class solidarity. But now that you mention it, yeah, demons. Basically the same thing.
I must admit, I found it difficult to understand how and why Mortimer didn't have a place in history.
On the continent, Mortimer and Home are mere dandies who organize society balls. History forgets them with a disconcerting facility. No one speaks about them, and yet they whisper in the ears of kings and presidents.
Well, kings and president, singular.
Louis, I am proud of you. You came all this way. You found me. You have surpassed me.
You taught me everything I know. Right. How did it all begin?
I saw him.
What do you mean you saw him?
I was 20 years old. I was young and carefree. I traveled the world in search of adventure. In the Persian Gulf, we came across an ancient grimoire that became unlocked. Composed of 7 parts, each one was a book in itself, set in a sort of metal armor that structured the whole thing. When all the volumes were brought together, they formed a single book.
Damn, why can't I play that game?
On my return to Paris, I set to studying these pages. I spent all my days and nights studying them.
Oh, I can imagine you doing that.
But the writing was in a language I had never seen before, developed well before Sumerian, in my opinion. So I got the idea to form a small occult circle composed of all the major names in the occult world to see if anyone else could crack it.
And you found no one.
And I found someone, Louis. I found him. Or rather, he found me. He was young, charismatic. He was flamboyant.
You mean Mortimer?
He was a veritable mine of knowledge. I showed him the book, and he was able to decipher a few passages. We spent several months together studying the pages.
He was already old in those days, wasn't he? So you recognized him when you arrived on the island, right?
No, he wasn't in that body.
Alright, that's confusing, because there's a portrait of Mortimer from the Crusades, which would lend credence to the idea that he is immortal via demonic magics with a CK. But he wasn't in that body, so maybe the demon has the ability to possess multiple bodies at once? I'm not sure.
But I know it was him. I swear it was him. The way he spoke, his posture, a few of his intonations, his mannerisms.
Wait a minute. You were talking about 60 years ago. I've lost the thread.
Yes, sorry. He helped me understand certain passages until I realized that he only translated a few parts for me. But I had aroused his interest. It was too late.
How so?
I mean to say he manipulated me. He used me, and in the end, he stole the book with all its secrets.
Did he ever go to your place?
Not once. At least I don't think so. But before disappearing, he proposed a pact between us. He proposed that I follow him and let him teach me, allow him to bring me up.
And you accepted.
Please don't be stupid. You don't make deals with the devil. After that, I spent my whole life looking for him. 3 years later in Berlin, I just missed him. In London, I lost 6 members of the order in a chase. In 1741, in Tunisia, I found a sect of fanatics who had crossed paths with him once. 1741, in Poland. 1749, in India.
8 years ago in Venice.
We agreed never to speak about what happened in Venice, Louis.
You agreed, and that was before you spoke to me about demons. Wait, the baby we delivered, you and me, that night in Venice, did he have anything to do with Lord Mortimer?
The child was his son.
We stole his son? Are you insane? I always thought we took him to save him.
That was the case. It was precisely to save him from his father.
Need I remind you the mother died during childbirth? What became of the child?
Later.
We're learning, apparently, that something happened in Venice. And before we can even wrap our minds around that, we found out we stole a baby.
For the moment, that is not the key issue here. Once we found the Al-Azif in Paris, I followed von Borchart's trail here. I didn't think it would lead me straight to the demon. It was careless of me. He toyed with me for a few days, until I caught on, until I saw him as he was. But he had no intention of letting me leave. We are all his pawns, Louis, and if we don't want to spend the rest of our lives turning round in circles here, we must absolutely get off this island. All right, can we move on?
Wait a minute, one last thing.
It says one last thing, but I need to know everything about these demons.
What did you negotiate about the Al-Azif with Volner?
Absolutely nothing. I managed to pull the wool over his eyes until I found a way to flee.
I want to know what happened with Elizabeth Adams.
Louis, we haven't time for those details.
I'm too busy to talk about the woman I may have murdered, okay? I have a full schedule.
I'm sorry, Mother, but I want to know.
She was one of the receptacles for these monsters. I met her parents when she was born. One of the demons got inside her. The demon used her to spy on her father, John Adams. He is one of the founding fathers and vice president of the United States, you know.
Mortimer possessed her?
No, I don't think it was Mortimer. Her father, John Adams, hired me to tend to her, but the evil in her was too deep. In spite of the various treatments I tried on her, I never succeeded in getting it out of her. It's not something I'm proud of, Louis, but I had to try everything.
Mother, did you kill her?
Of course not. Don't be stupid. I had no interest in getting rid of her.
So yeah, mental illness, not real. That's demons, baby. And the trepanning and the Harry Potter tattoos were all part of an elaborate ritual to seal it inside of her. I'm just repeating what the characters are saying, but it feels so good to say these things with your own mouth. Try it yourself.
What was going on with the cannons in Tuscany?
It was nothing.
Since when does the Order finance wars?
The cannons for that Bonaparte fellow? Listen, once in the lion's den, I did whatever I could to appear legitimate. So yes, I pretended to be interested in Mortimer's project about a young military man who was seeking funding for a foundry in Tuscany. Between you and me, if buying China would have enabled me to escape, I would have signed without hesitation.
Samuel Ritter du Choix. You wanted to send me a letter about Godoy.
I wanted you to run a check on Duke Manuel. But frankly, it doesn't really matter anymore now. Godoy is just a pawn like the others. He is not the one I was looking for.
Are you going to tell me what happened to your hand?
Better than that. I shall show you.
On the evening of my arrival, Cardinal Piaggi came looking for you. He was determined to give you a letter.
More of his lists. Louis, I think I know what's in that letter, and I beseech you to believe that it is the least of our worries. We can sort that out later.
Good. I think that's about right. We shall speak about it once we get back to France.
Great actions for humanity have been decided by demons for centuries, Louis. They are playing with our destiny. We are their slaves. And it's time for it to stop. By the way, what was Mortimer's project at this conference?
He demands that the Spanish hand over Louisiana to France.
Oh, knowing him, it won't stop there. We should do our utmost to put a stop to Mortimer's plans. But for the time being, there are more pressing matters.
Are you going to tell me why we're here?
There. That's why we are here.
Get ready for one of the most convoluted puzzles I've seen in a game, and one that, after my own research, I think may just be busted and not solvable through human logic. The next video is going to be entirely devoted to solving this puzzle. Thank you for sticking with this LP until we got to the bizarre stuff, but I promise it only gets better and weirder.
is. You see, a few years back, on a routine dig for dinosaur fossils, a landslide broke out and nearly broke my leg in two. They had to operate quickly, so they used the dinosaur bone I found to save my leg.